Oh, hey there. How's it going? Welcome back to another episode. I'm Rick. This is the Sportscasters Club YouTube program. Today we're going to talk about why this is the year you should become a sports broadcaster. And there's a lot to talk about when we discuss this topic, but there's no question that this is the year you should become a sports media professional, become a sportscaster. All right, let's get into this question. When I first got into sports media, I was 18 years old and I was focused. I was determined. Sports broadcasting was my passion. It was going to be my career, and I jumped in feet first. I did everything I could do for free. I wanted to be in professional baseball. A local team moved to my town, and so I got a job with the ball club selling programs. I was writing for a sports media newspaper, a sports newspaper, which I did get paid for at 18 years old. But then I became friends with the team's broadcaster, started off doing post-game interviews for free. Then I would go on the air each game, a few innings for free. And by the end of the season, I was traveling with the team, sleeping on the floor in hotels for free, broadcasting the games. And I thought I was in heaven. It was the best. Traveling on the team bus, oftentimes, getting to broadcast the games at home and on the road, and it was amazing. And I wasn't getting paid a dime for it. Now I think back and think about those grimy hotel floors. When I'd unroll my sleeping bag, sleep the night in one of these flea bag hotels in the same room with the other broadcaster, Bill, and the bus driver. And I think now, what if I had one of those white UV lights? I can only imagine what those floors looked like in these flea bag hotels, and I don't want to think about it. But at the time, I was determined and I was focused. And so that was the time for me to start my career. I was young, single, hungry, no kids, ready to go. So how can I tell you that now's the time for you to become a sportscaster? Because I don't know anything about you. I don't know your background. I don't know your stage of life. I don't know your intelligence. I don't know your skills and abilities. Any of it. I don't know if you've got kids, a mortgage, a career, white picket fence, a dog, whatever. I don't know that. But what I do know, since decades have passed since that point, I do know that I have a lot of friends and I've come across a lot of acquaintances, coached many of them, not only at Fordham University, Marist College, Connecticut School of Broadcasting, but here at Sportscasters Club. I've coached many of them that are now in the latter stages of their life, and they come to me and they have this doubt, they have this regret, they have these lingering questions. If only I would have given it a shot when I was 18. If only I would have gone to school for sports media. And there's never any better time than right now, than the present. It's a cliche, but it's true. So my opinion, after living decades since I jumped into the industry, is that you're going to regret a lot of the things you don't do more than you regret the things you try. And you see that. I just read something on X yesterday or 2 days ago. It was a poem or a statement written by an 85-year-old woman at the end of her life. And she was saying that she regretted not taking more chances. She regretted not telling people how she really felt. She regretted not using her time to its fullest, not going after it, not taking a shot. She regretted trying to make others happy rather than pursue things that she felt called to do or would make her happy or satisfy her. And I completely agree. And thankfully, we can learn from people that way. And we don't want to look back on it. So here's the point I'm making. And it comes, there was another story as well. I remember teaching an all-day seminar at the Connecticut School of Broadcasting in New Jersey. And at lunchtime during this seminar, a gentleman came up. He was in his 50s or 60s. And he said, I'm looking to make a transition into sports broadcasting. I've been in business my whole life. I've got kids. I've got a mortgage. But I really love sports, and I want to jump into sports media. And we had a nice discussion. A lot of the topics we talked about were dipping your toe in. So my advice to him was, start by doing it on the side for free. Start by shadowing someone to get a feel for the industry. He had started by coming to the seminar, which was great. He actually brought his son, so they were both there. And I thought that was great because he was in a very low risk environment. He was learning more to find out if it would be a good fit, if it would be the best fit for him that year. And that was more than a decade ago. So that was my advice for him. Dip your toe in. Don't risk anything. Don't quit your job. That would be ridiculous. That would be irresponsible. And I would never suggest someone do that. You've got to take care of your responsibilities first, whether they be to yourself, to your spouse, your children, your family. Those are more important, okay? And that's always got to be the focal point and the bedrock that you make these decisions. But I told him, listen, first of all, knowing sports and loving sports is not enough, and we've talked about that a lot here at Sportscasters Club. But I told him, go for it. Dip your toes in slowly. Dave Ramsey would always say, you want to pull the boat up close enough to the shore so you can make the jump. You don't want to jump from the middle of the ocean to the shore because you're going to drown. You want to get that boat as close enough. And what Dave meant was earning enough income in your side hustle before you make the leap. And I completely agree with that philosophy. But at the same time, you don't want to look back and say, if only I would have given it a shot, because I could have been like Joe Beningo and made a midlife career change to sports media. Or if only I gave it a shot, I could have had so much fun and met so many great people in the sports broadcasting profession. And I really feel I have the skills and the abilities and the skill set and the talents to do well in sports media. Because you don't want to look back and say, if only I did, if only I tried. And for myself and many others, that career can change and evolve as time goes on. For me, it did. It was professional baseball. It was college basketball, hockey, football. It was sports talk shows. And then it branched into teaching and eventually to Sportscasters Club that we've done here for more than a decade, both on YouTube, podcasts, the website, books, our courses, all of that, where we've been able to coach and teach thousands of sports broadcasters over the years. And it's evolved, but only because we took the chance at the beginning, and only because I was willing to sleep on those floors and work for free. And I said my talents probably weren't worth much at the time. I was 18 years old. There was a lot I didn't know and a lot of abilities and skills I didn't yet have. But I'm so happy now that I look back, and eventually my priorities changed in terms of family, children. My 2 daughters are wonderful. One of them's heading off to college soon. The other one will be not far behind. And so those priorities and those things they'll always be more important than a career choice. But that's why I say it's got to fit. And if it makes sense to try so you don't have those regrets, start with learning, dip your toe in, then put your knee in. See how the water is. Then go down to your waist. That's always the most painful part. The waist is always the worst. I don't know if it is for you, but when you get that cold water up to your midsection, it's painful. And that's why I don't love the cold water. But that's kind of how it is when you make a midlife career change. You want to go slowly, dip your toe in, and at the same time, you don't want to have any regrets. Because someday, God willing, we're going to be the 85-year-old woman, although I hope I'm never an 85-year-old woman. We're going to be that person looking back and wondering, if only I tried, if only I educated myself further on that topic, if only I learned more about it, if only I went deeper to find out if it would have been a great fit. And we're going to regret the things we don't do so much more, I think, than the things we try and either fail or change our mind eventually about. So I hope this helps. Just a short video to talk about this topic. We discuss this and so many other sports broadcasting issues and questions. Hope you found this enlightening, educational. Let me know in the comments what you thought, if you agree, or if you think I'm off base on this one. And again, I'll never tell you to take a risk that you shouldn't take. Focus on your family, your career, your mortgage, your job, all that. Don't give that up to try to take a chance. But dip your toe in. Learn more. Take that step. Because I think for all of us, I think that's the decision that will prevent us having regret later on. So my name is Rick. Thanks for being here today, and I'll talk to you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Sportscasters Club radio show at sportscastersclub.com. Don't forget to subscribe so you will never miss an episode. And thanks for liking, sharing, posting reviews, and spreading the word.